Have you ever found yourself in such a creative rut that the more you try to claw your way out, the deeper into the rut you go? Well, I have been there so often, in fact, that I made a map and a tool to find my way out again and again. Because honestly, when I switched from my job as a teacher to my job as a business owner, a content creator, and a writer, I was amazed about how pushing fatigue does not work. And so you have to find a different way to get yourself back on track. Whereas I could pull an all-nighter as a teacher, as a creative, and as a writer, the the well would just go dry. And the more I pushed, the deeper into the rut I got. And so we're at almost the halfway mark through the year, and I wanted to create some videos that would help us get motivated, renew our goals, and keep going through the summer with our beautiful books and creative projects. So without further ado, this wiggly little thing is what I created to keep me consistent and help me out of a creative rut when that's just where I was. And so I call this the 9-stage ladder from burnout to creativity. And basically, what it helped me to do is rather than pushing myself to be creative, pushing myself to be passionate, which is kind of a contradiction in terms, it allowed me to let my creativity blossom by going through these natural steps that are coherent with the way the brain works. And so we're going to go through these together. If you've been following this YouTube channel, I mentioned a few weeks ago that we kind of went through some emotional stress. We're right on this ladder right here ourselves recently, where our landlords asked us to buy our apartment, to purchase or go. And that was pretty stressful. There was a lot involved with that that could have easily led to burnout. And of course, it led to some fatigue. But I created this map, I pasted it on my wall, and I was able to stay consistent and not let it affect my creativity, which is why I really wanted to talk about it today. So this is my own little prop that I'm using, but you will find that I have created a packet with journaling questions and an explanation for this whole map. It will be sent to your email box right below if you just sign up. And so I have all of the free stuff right here available for you. So let's get into it. So of course, we all, with health challenges, family members, loss, grief, we can all find ourselves in a place where we're either at rock bottom and we need to just step out for a while. We might be in chaos where we're dealing with multiple uncertainties. And so that's where we start. And the rest of these rungs on the ladder are how we build our way back up naturally so that our creativity blossoms out. So the first major hinge point I want to talk about, because it's very fresh in my mind, is emotional stress. So emotional stress is here near the bottom of this ladder to creativity. And we know when we feel it. We know the ringing in our ears, we know the frustration, we know the big emotions that come along with emotional stress. That's definitely how I felt when I thought we were going to have to move. And so dealing with the emotional stress without creating stories in your mind about who's to blame, who's not working hard enough, why this happened, all of those things can lead you back down the ladder, back into chaos. If you have an angry or a sad or a destructive story around emotional stress, you can go back into chaos by making bad decisions. Oh my goodness. We decided to purchase this apartment, and I was amazed about how really we were dealing with a lot of great actors. There were a lot of great people that we were doing business with, and still, out of fear, my brain was a magnet for stories, and I just had to step outside them, witness them, and make sure that I kept any emotional stress that I was having out of the conversation. And so, and I was also amazed at how I could witness it in other people too, because it's natural. And so I will say the fastest way out of emotional stress, whether it's a big purchase of an apartment or anything else you're dealing with, the fastest way out is to limit the stories that can pull you down into chaos, into arguments, into anything of that nature. And if you keep it just clean and clear, before long, you're going to find your way into depleted margins. This is the mistake I think we make. If we feel like, oh my goodness, I took care of the problem, so often we're like, bam, 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 I want to go straight into my passionate project. And then we feel exhausted. I have learned from experience, when you find yourself in depleted margins, pay attention and allow yourself that extra self-care. So it might mean you need a larger sleep margin. You might need to do a little savings and find yourself a bigger money margin. You might need a walk, a nature margin. So some people call this self-care. I like to think of it as margins. It's that space that you create to allow for creativity. Space is so essential for creativity. Pressure is the enemy of creativity, especially at the beginning of a project. There may be deadlines as you get further into it, but in the beginning, we need to create some space. And so having some margins is the best way to get up this ladder out of fatigue, out of burnout. And before long, we'll find ourselves in balancing act. In balancing act, one of my favorite tools is the done for the day list. And so balancing act is a point where you still feel tired sometimes, but you're also getting little sparks. You're also ready to go. So to keep yourself moving up this ladder and not moving down the ladder, you want to really make a minimum for the day list. What will keep you in business? Because I have said, this is what kept me consistent. And so it's not by checking out and letting everything go. If you have to do that, you have to do that. But if at all possible, make a list of what you must do for the day to keep yourself in creativity, in business. For a writer, this might look like, just a minimum viable paragraph to keep yourself acquainted with your project and moving forward, but just make very small steps and really be conscious of what you need to get done for the day, and then give yourself more of a space, more of a margin. And that's where we're in balancing act. And so because this ladder has been such an important part in my life, recently, I went ahead and shared it with a group. One of the main questions was about the next step, which is curiosity and rewarding curiosity. So this top part, which brings us from curiosity to passion, to purpose, to mission, that was inspired by Stephen Kotler's book, The Art of the Impossible. So Stephen Kotler talks about creative flow and the fastest way into it. The fastest way into creative flow is not by pushing, but by weaving together multiple curiosities. Another way of thinking about this is stacking motivation. So for instance, in my business and in my writing, I'm curious about spirituality. I love books and literature. I also love business. And so those are very much the curiosities that I have woven into the meaning method, my book, my business, all of it. I'm always kind of pulling on those different strands of curiosity. So when you find yourself in a place of recovery and you're trying to get back on track, don't push. Don't don't be hard on yourself and say, I didn't get enough done today. The faster way back into passion and purpose is to reward when you feel that little spark of curiosity. Curiosity is the bridge from depleted margins and balancing act to passion. And so there are times when we are so fatigued and so burnt out that we just need to rest and no sparks come. So reward your curiosity. When you feel something you want to ask Chat GPT, or even some internet rabbit hole that you go down where you're feeling the spark of curiosity, follow it, reward it with action, because that will lead you back into your writing, back into your passion. Then here we are at passion. The way Stephen Kotler defines passion is that it's multiple strands of curiosity woven together. That's definitely what has kept me in love with this business year after year after year. The passion is still there because it weaves several curiosities together. It stacks my motivations. Purpose is a point where you're actually getting into a professional position with your writing, with your creativity. Maybe you're a self-published author and you're doing a series and it's starting to pick up and make some money and it's important to you. This is what you want to do. This is where you want to go with your life, with your career. The bridge up is just keep the passion alive and move it into purpose. And then finally, mission. Mission is, I think of it a little bit like a military mission, where there are more people depending on your talents, your writing, your creativity than just you. And so this is where it goes beyond just a personal purpose, but it really is something larger than yourself that you are participating in. And so that is the ladder, all the way from rock bottom to all the way up to mission. I know you can come up with examples of people who have done this before, but this is the fastest road, not by pushing, not by being hard on yourself, but really if you're in a place, in a rut or in fatigue, take this way out. So of course, as always, every single Friday, I come on here and try to motivate everyone who subscribed to this channel. So make sure and subscribe. If you want your own copy of the 9-stage ladder from burnout to creativity, download it right below. Just sign up in the link I've provided. And I will see you next Friday. So make sure you make time this weekend to move forward on your passion, on your creativity, on your book. So much love. Talk soon.